So we are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3 Dead Gummit. Today is Sunday, June the 15th, 2025 is the year of our Lord that we're in right now. And we've got a fantastic show for you tonight because we've got some fantastic callers lined up, as we always do, who's going to talk to us about what the hell we want to talk about, what they want to talk about. We're going to talk about recruiting if you want to. Got some things going on in the OVs are wrapping up at Auburn. Got some announcements on the horizon. Got some unofficial visits coming in. And we'll talk about all of that, whatever you want to talk to. Here to do it, as he always is, 100% of the time when he's here, Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, big dog?
How about you?
How about you, man? J-Head. Oh, damn it.
Oh.
Dang.
Oh.
$32, man. Dang, come on. Allen Head, Sir Allen Head.
You going to do that to him on Father's Day?
I wanted to give him an extra $1. That's what it was.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Third of a tank of gas. He is on assignment with family. We wish him well. He will be back with us, I think, this week for the recruiting show. But we're going to talk about mostly recruiting to get the show started. Then we'll go to the phone lines. Auburn had 6 official visitors, Cole, but I thought one of the most important listen, big dog visitors, but I thought one of the big unofficial visitors was Landon Duckworth, the 4-star quarterback from Jackson, Alabama. He came in on Thursday night, stayed until Saturday morning. You talked to him. What did he say? What were your takeaways?
He didn't say anything crazy. Pretty much run-of-the-mill interview. He lit up a few times on topics like fit in the offense. I thought he lit up. He seemed to really like that part of it. He likes Deuce Knight. Big fan of Deuce Knight. They've bonded. We even asked him, like, look, I mean, he's good. We hear a lot about him. If he's the guy and he's got a lot of time at Auburn, is that a problem? And Duckworth was like, no, I mean, no, it's competition wherever you go. It doesn't matter. I'm close with him. That's all that matters. So I thought that was good. He did say that he was thinking about taking another visit to South Carolina, but then he followed that with, but, I'm fixing to be in California for Elite 11. I want to get a decision. So we'll see if I can get one. I will. I thought that was favorable for Auburn because it doesn't sound like it's going to be the easiest thing ever to get to South Carolina. If he does go back to South Carolina for another visit, hunker down because I believe that, and this is not from talking to him, but this is from talking to sources, that Landon Duckworth and South Carolina has always been the consistent team there with NIL. Auburn, maybe they've been, we haven't given Auburn much of a chance with Landon Duckworth, and part of that was because I just wasn't sure if Auburn was going to match what maybe South Carolina was doing, but I think they've at least done that. I think they've told him, look, in-state, it matters to us. I think they've been telling him this. No matter what South Carolina does at this point, we want you here. We think this is the best spot for you. And I think that pitch resonates with him. So it's a close battle, but I don't know if I can give an edge quite yet because I want to see what play South Carolina makes. And but it's going to be a fun one to watch. It has become a fun one to watch, put it that way.
Cole, I think you said it best, man. I think a lot has changed with Auburn in its recruitment of Landon Duckworth. I think a month ago when we expected Travis Burgess to be the quarterback in this class is because I don't think Auburn was ready to make a run NIL-wise on a quarterback after having obtained Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels from the transfer portal, and we all know quarterbacks aren't cheap out of the transfer portal, in addition to a 5-star quarterback like Deuce Knight. So in the same, 3-month period, I don't even know if it was 3 months. It might have been 60 days. Auburn went out and signed three quarterbacks, 2 transfer portal quarterbacks, 1 expected starter, Jackson Arnold, former 5-star. And then you go out and you sign a 5-star plus and Deuce Knight, and you're going, man. And we heard some rumblings behind the scenes. This might be a year Auburn takes a developmental guy in 2026 and then looks and shoots for the stars again in 2027. And I think that was the plan initially. That's why we didn't put a lot of stock in Landon Duckworth. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, That's why you didn't see Landon Duckworth visit Auburn. We couldn't find a recent visit of Landon Duckworth until his official visit a week ago. And then here he comes back the next week for a 2-night unofficial visit. And I think Auburn is more willing now, or has at least decided, that they want to stack this room. They want to keep stacking depth at the quarterback room. And I think that was a decision that's been made fairly recently. And I think that's why you've seen him on campus now twice in the past 8 days.
Well, he even said, Jeffrey, he was like, look, I mean, part of the reason I took this last unofficial after I just took an official visit is I've got to get a little closer with coaches. I haven't done that enough. Need to do that. He took a free weekend. He said I had 2 of them. Decided to come back to Auburn. The other one's going to be taken up by the Elite 11.
Yeah, I think he canceled a couple of visits too. He was like, man, that's just, I'm not going to either one. I can't remember. Cole, who was it? Did he cancel?
Florida State and Ole Miss.
Florida State and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is where a lot of folks thought he was going 2 months ago. Matter of fact, he might still have some RPMs in for Ole Miss. Some of the national guys, I think, had him going to Ole Miss at one point. It was definitely trending that way. There you go. There's some Ole Miss in there, but no Auburn. South Carolina's probably going to be the easy pick here. He was committed to South Carolina. As Cole said, they've been consistent in their NIL package with him, and I think Auburn's just now kind of getting into the game with that. So he's going to make a decision when, Cole?
He didn't give a date, but he was like, it really felt like they are looking for a decision after they get done with that Elite 11 camp.
Okay.
I mean, like, when he gets done with that, it almost sounded like, well, I may not make it to South Carolina because I'm up against a decision here. He didn't say that, but it's what it sounded like to me. And he said July. Definitely want it to be in July, so that all tracks to be around that time, right after they get done with this camp. So I think, gosh, it's going to be a tough one. I don't think it's over by any means. That's why I can't make a call on it. I guess I would maybe give a slight edge to Auburn right now because of this visit. I think that's fair to say. I think they, made their pitch and he's listening to it, likes it. The family likes it. You have to get everybody on board. It's not just about Landon. It's about everybody. And I think that's going well right now. Again, I do think South Carolina's going to come in and they're not going to relent. So how's that going to look? What's going to happen with that? I just don't have an answer today. But it's favorable for Auburn right now. I would say that.
Cole, I thought you made a great point, a comparison to this recruitment in Auburn and South Carolina. I think it was Jalewis Solomon, which was it last year or the year before?
It's 2 years ago.
Year before last. And I remember being on the golf course when all this was going down because Jalewis Solomon was a 4-star cornerback, I think from East Georgia.
From Schley County.
There you go. And he was committing to South Carolina at like 11 o'clock that day. And, at 10 o'clock, my phone rings and it was back and forth for the next hour. It was Auburn had flipped him. Then he was like, no, I'm just going to stick with South Carolina. Then Auburn flipped him again. He announced to Auburn, committed to Auburn that day, and ultimately signed with South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So this is, I thought this is kind of going to go be that volleyball match with Auburn and South Carolina to see how this ends up.
Yeah.
Pardon me. All right, before we move on, I wanted to say, hey, if you're in Auburn or Opelika, Lee County, Alabama, and you're looking to sell your home, maybe find a new one, maybe upgrade, maybe find an investment property, maybe a condo in Auburn to rent out. Great money maker, man. Look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. A lot of fours in that number, Cole Pinkston, but don't be discouraged or tricked. She's a freaking 5-star realtor. If you don't believe me, just ask me. I'll tell you. Her name's Andrus, and she's a 5-star realtor. She's fantastic, folks. I see her do it every day. She works hard for her clients, morning, evening, nights, weekends, Sundays. She does it all, man. She's fantastic, knows the game, knows the best way to get you the best deal in whatever it is that you're wanting to do with real estate needs. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. Cole, real quick before we get to the phones, I just want to run down the kind of give everybody a quick hit because this was a big weekend for Auburn. No more official visits are scheduled that we're aware of. Auburn did this last year. There's one weekend left, the coming up weekend before the dead period, and that dead period lasts until the end of August.
Yeah, it's from June 23rd to July 31st is the dead period this year.
No, all August is dead too.
It is, I guess, for recruiting, but is it?
Yeah.
Hang on. Dang,
Yeah, unless you have a home game, I think the last weekend in August, it is dead. It's dead for 2 months solid, I know, and then that last weekend of June. Where are my favorites? Here's my recruiting calendar.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't.
all of July and all of August. So June, what'd you say, 25th?
June 23rd
till September the 1st is dead. I think if you have a home game that week 0 in college football, you can have recruits. But other than that, it's dead for 2 months, 2+ months.
I guess the calendar I look at stops counting at July because it's like August.
It does. It does. It starts over August.
What they're saying is, hey, dummy, of course it's dead during August. They got practice.
So Auburn's not going to have any official visitors this weekend, though. Zach, I'm going to run down the list real quick. Big visit weekends. 5-star Cedarian Morgan was on campus. 5-star Braylon Womack was on campus. 5-star running back Xavier Crowell. 4-star wide receiver Devin Carter. Shadarius Toodle, 4-star linebacker, and 4-star wide receiver Denarius Gray. Those last 3 are all Auburn commitments. But we'll start at the top. I'll just give you kind of a quick rundown. Cole, you can jump in, chime in with anything you've got, but I'll just give everybody kind of a quick rundown of what transpired today on these exit interviews. Cedarian Morgan, 5-star wide receiver from Benjamin Russell. He's going to visit Alabama next weekend. Then he's going to make a decision soon after that. I think July the 2nd. I think Alabama is the presumed leader for him. But man, I tell you, I think Auburn's the long game for him. I fully expect him to commit to non-Auburn July the 2nd. I'm not so sure about where he signs, though. Do you disagree there, Cole?
No, I don't. I may be losing a little bit of confidence that Auburn is has a chance in the long game, but it's not going to be over when he commits. I mean, I'd say that for guys that commit to Auburn too. I'm not just saying that.
Sure.
Be going to Alabama, and I do pick Alabama right now. I think that's who's going to land it July 2nd. But we know how much Hugh Freeze values guys like this, and when that's the case, and you know how receptive he is. Like you said, you talked to him. I mean, seems like he is, very interested in Auburn. You wonder about the family. Does the family want to do that? Are they so, into Alabama? I think that's a fair question. We'll see.
We'll see. Another 5-star on campus this weekend was, and I thought Auburn's, the feedback that he gave was a lot more encouraging than others. Was Braylon Womack, the 5-star #1 safety in the country from Mississippi. As he said, I've been here more than 50 times, and his sister here at Auburn playing softball. Him and his parents have been to Auburn to watch many softball games. He knows Auburn better than anything. But he said he really loved this official visit this weekend because it was much more relaxed. It was like he was part of the family. It wasn't like they were recruiting him. He was just part of the team. He was hanging out with all the players and playing basketball with New Boy and all the safeties and just basically part of the team. He was part of the team. He wasn't sitting in on meetings. They weren't having to explain to him the fit and the defense. He's been here so many times. He's done all of that before. So I thought that was some really positive feedback from Braylon Womack, who's going to take an official visit to Ohio State next weekend. And then he's going to make his decision, his commitment, August the 22nd. Florida, let me see about this. Florida and A&M also in the picture here.
Yeah. Ohio State's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah. And listen, I like many others had thought this was Auburn, Ohio State, and it may be. But my goodness, with the role Florida has been on,
no,
shit, don't count them out.
Don't you love talking to Braylon Jeffrey? Just
he's awesome,
straight shooter. He ain't playing. He'll tell you what's up. And I didn't talk to him today. You did. I didn't see how that went, but I've always felt. I mean, especially with the Jira Edwards news. Now, Alan would tell you this. That might free you up to make the move you need to move here. Is it smart to go, okay, Jira might be trending away. We know what we got here. We got some pull with him, but we got pull with Braylon Womack too. Let's not play. If you can get this one done, make it happen. And those two we knew. Allen's been saying as long as we talked about this, just doesn't set well for both of those guys to be in this class in Iowa.
Yeah,
No way, right?
that'd be tough to do.
So I think Auburn could really hone in on this one right now.
I think Braylon Womack is probably of the three uncommitted guys this weekend. I think he's the best short term play for Auburn. He's going to give you the chance to have a commitment before the season starts on August 22nd. Like Cole and I said, Cedarian Morgan likely going to commit to Bama early, and then the 5-star running back Xavier Crowell, who is a teammate of Landon Duckworth, although that plays zero into his recruitment. EJ was on campus this weekend. Going to visit Bama next weekend and make his decision, I think, like 3 days after he gets out of his Bama visit. And I don't think anybody expects him to commit to anywhere but Alabama.
No. Yeah, Alabama.
Listen, there was some big news. I mean, if you haven't, man, go to Auburn Live on 3 and read these exit interviews, these stories from Cedarian Morgan, from Braylon Womack. And Devin Carter was fantastic. Devin Carter, the son of Dexter Carter, the Florida State stud from the late 80s. You know, there was a lot of –
he also coached at Florida State.
Coached at Florida State. A lot of buzz from Devin. You know, he committed to Auburn back in January, and then he took an official visit to Florida State last week, and there was a lot of buzz around the Seminoles. But Devin came in and was like, man, you know, I love Auburn. I'm locked in. This is my home. I felt the same after my Florida State visit. Nothing has changed. Like, this is where I belong. He had some really good stuff. Really enjoyed that interview with him. He's an awesome kid. He's an awesome family.
Yeah. And
then, Cole, arguably the biggest news of the weekend was freaking Shadarius Toodle.
Very important. Very important. This is so when we're talking about Landon Duckworth and we're talking about NIL and, you know, what kind of move is Auburn going to make? Does Auburn want to make a move? Does Auburn want to secure this? We maybe had just a period there where we were questioning what Auburn was going to do with Toodle, but we said, look, Auburn's got the cards to play. We all felt that way, that if Auburn decides it wants Toodle, it can keep Toodle. And it's still battling with Georgia. Michigan's also involved. But I think Auburn wants to keep Toodle, and I think Auburn can do it. Right?
Absolutely. You know, when he left Georgia, oddly enough, I mean, things are going to change so much in the last 20 years in recruiting. But how about this? You had an Auburn commitment, visit Georgia, and leave the visit saying that Georgia was number one. That's somehow possible. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, I love the transparency.
I do too.
I'm still committed to Auburn, but
I'm tired of this dog and pony show. Well, you know, 100%. But
I tell you what, I have seen a little bit more transparent. I've been pushing for it too. I've had a little bit more direct questions, and you get better answers when you push them a little bit.
Yeah.
And put their toes to the fire. And sometimes you don't have to do that, but it gives for certainly better quotes than, you know, I'm still committed to Auburn, but Georgia made a big move. Well, he left and said Georgia's number one.
Yeah.
And some RPM picks predicted him to flip to Georgia, and he came in this weekend and he left saying Auburn is back on top, and I think that bodes well for Auburn. Auburn loves him at the Mike linebacker. He spent a lot of time with DJ Durkin, some of the players, and I think he could. I think he could. You know how these kids are doing it. They're committing and they're taking visits and they're making final decisions or shutting the recruitments down. But I think Auburn getting back on top for Shadarius Toodle was big news.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge because it confirms number one, it confirms what we thought. Whereas, yeah, Georgia has a lot of pull, but again, we talked about it. We compared it to Joe Phillips. We compared it to Eric Winters. If Auburn wants to keep this guy, it can. It has the power. And now we see that it does. I think they're in the same situation with Landon Duckworth. Because I think if Auburn does what it needs to do, it doesn't have to go crazy over what South Carolina's offering. I think that's where he wants to be. That's the feeling I get. This feeling I got with Toodle. I think that's the case.
Let's see, and then Denarius Gray, I believe, was the last one. Yeah, Denarius Gray. He was the first commitment in Auburn. He's been committed since January of 2024. So what
I
are we
remember
talking?
Because I was at a little get together to watch the Alabama-Michigan playoff game when he committed. I had to run out to my car, write that story real quick. I remember that game was going on that night. Think about when that was, when Michigan beat Alabama.
18 and a half months ago. Yeah. To be absolutely specific, it's the June 15th. That's 6 months and 15 days. 18 and a half months ago. He's been committed to Auburn. He's taken official visits to Washington, NC State, Kentucky was last weekend. He told me he's going to take Ole Miss next weekend. So, people are still coming after him. I think the relationship there with Marcus Davis is big, but keeping him is certainly going to, that's something Auburn wants to do. This isn't some guy that, if he wants in, he can stay in. They're going to keep pushing for this guy to stay in the class.
Yeah. I like Janarius Gray, by the way. Big fan of him. Maybe not as polished as a Devin Carter.
Right.
But got that dog in him.
Mm-hmm.
Got that dog in him. Look at
South
the
Florida boy.
Look at the profile picture. He's mean mugging. That's kind of the way he plays. He's tough, physical. I think Auburn does well with receivers like that.
All right, let's. I know folks here they're more into football than recruiting. A lot of our watchers and listeners, except for old Carter man.
It's true, but and by the way, before we get him on, I got to give Kevin some props. I believe it was the last show, Jeffrey, where Kevin said Auburn's going to get Landon Duckworth.
I believe he did,
and we said, and we were both like, we kind of looked and we're like, we'll see, Kevin, we'll see. Not feeling it right now, but that man's never wrong.
Never.
We'll see, but it's not over yet. But
it's certainly trending favorably for Kevin there.
Good call.
Speaking of good calls, Zach, do we have Kevin?
Yep, we got Kevin. Kevin, you're live, man.
War Eagle, y'all. Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
Hey, War Eagle, Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Cole.
Yes, sir.
Landon Duckworth.
You called it, Kevin. It's not over yet, but hey, looking pretty good, I'd say, for Auburn.
I think we can get CD Morgan too.
Speak it into existence, Kevin.
I think it's very possible, Kevin. I don't think Auburn's going to get him July the 2nd, but I'm not putting it past them to get him in the first Wednesday in December. Certainly.
Right.
How about DJ Crawwell?
Yeah.
Just not feeling it, but
yeah.
One of those guys Auburn really likes. So we'll see how it works out in the end, but definitely trending to Bama for sure.
Yeah, I don't even like the long play with him.
I don't either.
How was your Father's Day?
Cole?
Fantastic. It was fantastic. We had fried chicken and all that good stuff for lunch, and I got this shirt.
And Dylan Cardwell got engaged.
Dylan Cardwell.
Did he?
Yeah,
I saw
he got engaged.
On the board. Ooh. He's getting a workout with the Lakers, I think.
Yeah, Lakers.
Sweet.
Is that all you got, Kevin?
I think Cam Coleman will have 30 touchdowns.
30?
Yeah. He's going to have to share the
Eric
love.
Terry will have 28.
58 combined.
That'd be fantastic.
That's going to be a good year if they can pull that off, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auburn still might be playing next year at this time if they score that many points.
Home games.
What'd you say, buddy?
Hopefully I get to go a couple home games.
Man, I certainly hope so. And if you do, we got to meet up, buddy.
Yeah.
You and Wanda.
Hey, where's Alan Head?
I think he's doing some Father's Day stuff with his family.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is, yeah. Did you,
Eric Winters get to play some?
Kevin likes Eric Winters. I'm with him. I am a big fan of Eric. I think he will get to play, Kevin.
How about Quan Fagans?
Definitely going to get to play.
New boy.
New boy.
Now, I will say Braylon Womack said, new boy, if you're listening, new boy, is trash at
I
basketball.
bet we get
Ooh.
Raylan Malmack.
Very doable.
I think it's doable. I do too.
Very doable. I'm going to be curious.
Running back, Cole.
What do you say, Kevin?
Running
Who
back.
do you think be the starting running back?
Oh, starter.
Starting running back, I think, is going to be Damari Austin. Although I will tell you, I want to see
Damari
Darrell
Austin.
Robinson. I want to see Darrell Robinson in action, Kevin.
Completely agree.
Where did he come from?
Transferred from UConn. He's another one of those St. Francis guys that DJ Durkin likes so much from Maryland. Had a nice little season at
We
UConn.
have Kristen Burdett.
Yep, he's out there. Christian Burnett from Faith in
Out there.
Mobile.
See a walk on? He pretty good, Kevin.
Alvin Henderson.
Saw Alvin Friday, Kevin. He's done put on some weight, some good weight. I asked him. He said he was pushing right at 210. So that's
How about
big
Jeremiah
old boy.
Cobb?
Jeremiah Cobb's in the mix. I think he'll play a lot. I think he'll be right there with Damari Austin.
I think the other wide receiver will be good too. Perry Thompson.
Got a loaded room.
Perry Thompson, Horatio Fields, Malcolm Simmons, Sam Turner. Don't forget
Yeah.
about Sam. A lot of guys.
And Bryce.
Cam, Eric.
Bryce Kane,
Mm-hmm. You say Horatio?
Horatio.
Horatio.
Where's the ratio from?
Wake Forest. Transferred in from Wake Forest.
I
Too
think
good.
our defense will be real good too, Cole.
Should be. I think defensive line maybe takes a step up. I think corners are going to be a little bit better depth.
What's the weak
Kendrick
point?
Falk.
Yep, Keldrick Falk working on being a first rounder.
Is the
JJ
unknown at
Hardy.
linebacker? Is the unknown at linebacker the weakness goal going in?
It has to be. Yeah.
Got some boys over there. Just don't
Yeah.
know what you got.
Young talent.
Yes,
is
relief.
there.
My mom's doing good.
Oh, good. She's still in the hospital?
No, she got out, then went back in, then got out again.
Good. Good. You tell her we're thinking
I
about her.
can't wait. August 22nd, that's when my favorite Aggies play.
Fairview.
Really?
They're going to do it again, Kevin. Have another good season.
Yeah, maybe 10-0.
10-0. I can see it.
What classification are
With 15 seniors coming back.
they? Is that 1A or AISA?
No, they're not AISA. They're like 2A.
It's five. It's class 5A.
Oh, fine.
dang. Oh,
Wow.
man.
I didn't know it was that big.
I talk to you next week.
All right,
All
Kevin.
right. Appreciate you calling in, buddy. War Eagle, buddy. 58 touchdowns.
58. That means Arnold would have to have 58 too.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
We got Carter here. Carter, you're live.
There he
man.
is.
Gentlemen, how about you?
How about you, Bama lover?
How about you?
And Bammer lovers in the house.
No.
Well, hey,
Well,
I'll tell you what, I really think that I know we talked about, don't put it past you to tell Jira to go ahead and commit to Alabama and then come back and flip after the Iron Bowl. But I'll tell you what, I think I want Braylon Womack more because y'all have reiterated what I'm about to say, but I know Allen has as well. And the versatility that dude provides to be able to play DB, corner, safety, whatever. Like, I really think if we can come out of next weekend without him committing to Ohio State, man, maybe I'm completely off kilter with this, but I think he's going to come to Auburn.
He definitely
And
won't commit to Ohio State next weekend.
I would almost rather have him. What'd you say?
He's not going to commit anywhere next weekend. I think he's what August 22nd.
August 22nd. Yeah.
I know. I should say the intel not considerably continuing to favor Ohio State coming out of next weekend. That's what I that's what I meant to say.
That's fair.
I want to say they got a couple safeties.
Yeah, I just
too.
Let's see about that.
if Sedarian Morgan does not land at Alabama, if he does not sign with Alabama come December, where do y'all think he'll end up? Do you think he'll for real go to Colorado?
You know, Carter, I've actually heard Colorado has been in this more than people give them credit. Obviously, Deion Sanders can pull one off like that. We've seen it happen. It seems to me like Florida might be the one outside of Alabama, maybe even more than Auburn at this point. I think, like I said, when it gets closer to the end, I do think Auburn's going to make a big move, or at least try to. So hard to say right now, but I think that's Florida's in this a little bit more than people give them credit to.
Cole, you're right, big dog. Ohio State has two 4-star safeties committed in Blaine Bradford and Simeon Caldwell. Or at least they're listed as safeties.
And they also have Jacob Weatherspoon. So 3.
And they got Jordan
Sure
Thomas committed at cornerback.
Sure do.
Jordan Thomas. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I don't know why I expected. I'm looking at their commit list. I expected them to have a few more commits than they do. Did you? Is it?
What do they have?
Like 14, I think.
15 commits, third in the country.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It is.
I mean, you're not turning away a Braylon Womack. I don't care who you are. But I see, no, I don't think anybody thinks Wayne Henry's going to scare off Braylon Womack.
No, probably not.
All right, Carter, is that all you got? Is it?
I was actually going to tell y'all something else. So I'm actually pretty good buddies with Jalen Crawford's dad. They're from Atlanta, as y'all know, and me and Jay talk. We probably talk once every other week, and he has told me that, man, look out for that DB room. He said that DB room is going to be stacked. He said that that consistently, when he has gone to practice and has seen Deuce Knight and sees the potential that he has, he said it's off the charts. And he said people need to give the staff time and be patient, which is why when we get all these nut jobs on the board telling everyone, all right, it's time to fire Hugh Freeze, I'm just like, good God, we all just wake up and smell the roses. Look what the guy took over. Look what he had when he took over. We were in shambles. We were in the ashes. And just like how Bruce Pearl took over Tony Barbie's basketball team. Good God, what if you would have told me when Bruce Pearl took over that we would have gone to a Final Four ever in his tenure? I would have said you were on crack. And I think that Hugh Freeze deserves. I think he deserves some patience. But you got to answer this year. You got to show that you made progress, like y'all have said. And man, if this talent blossoms the way that it has the chance to, we got something here.
Carter, I know you're a recruiting junkie, much like myself. And I know how you feel because you're sitting here watching all this. You're watching this staff put together a roster. and it's so awesome compared to how we've watched it been done at Auburn before. I think the roster's to a point where it can win 8, 9, 10 games. I think they're getting there. I think they're pretty close this year to having a roster that's capable of that. I've been on the train with you, and I'm a little bit more leaning towards well, at least I know this. If this season doesn't work out, if it looks exactly like it did a year ago with all the changes, with almost 50 new players on roster, Jeffrey, we know what the problem is. You know, I don't have to make an excuse for Hugh Freeze. Not that I haven't made excuses for him. You know, but we will know what the problem is if that's the case. We don't have to question it.
You're exactly right. I mean, and that's why I think reading all the impatience and everything on the board, I agree. This year is going to tell us, Cole, who, you know, if there's an issue and what it is. But man, if we don't have the best roster I have seen Auburn have, after following it addictively my entire life, this is the best Auburn roster I have easily seen since I was in college and graduated back in 2017, 2018. And even then, this has more potential talent than even that did.
It does.
To me.
It has younger talent. You're hoping that those guys can grow up and help. Look, I think in today's world, if a guy's good enough, he's going pro in 3 years anyway, like Keldrick Falk is probably going to go pro after this season. If you're not playing as a freshman, I mean, you pretty much if you're good enough to play on this level, you're going to come in ready to play. And I think Auburn's been getting those kind of guys. It's not just recruiting either, Carter. It's showing up on the field. The guys that he's brought in as freshmen are showing up as good players. Now, you get enough of them together, I think it'll work out. Hope it does. We'll see. We will find out. We'll get that answer this year.
Exactly. And I appreciate y'all taking my call, and War Damn Eagle, and look forward to talking to y'all soon.
Appreciate you, Bammer lover.
Thank you, Carter.
Good stuff.
5960. You're live. No introduction needed here.
Hey.
How about you, kid? Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Come on, Edward.
I wouldn't say that now.
Oh, man. Here. Where's that screen door? Let's hear it.
We can come back to him.
Yeah, come back to him.
Yeah, we got Anthony here. Anthony, you're live, man.
Fellas.
Hey, how about you, Anthony?
There's old Smitty.
First of all, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Thanks.
Although I don't know if you're a father.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. Before I get to my question, I wanted to let y'all guys know that I know a lot of people were about the running back room, the uncertainty, can they hold up? So I didn't convince my bro to call in. You know, he been working with those guys, training those guys all the summer. So he liked to be in the background. I told him call in, get an update on that room. So I think that'd be a treat for the listeners. So I think he's on the line, so y'all might hear from him later on.
Okay. All right.
Who is it, Anthony?
BSA. He'll tell you when you get on there. Name Mark.
Okay.
He pretty much been training the whole room.
Nice.
He's been training for a while. But anyway, my question is, I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. And Zach, I want you to jump in here also because I want your opinion on this. What would be Hugh Freeze's signature win this year?
Say that again.
Yeah, one more time, Anthony.
What would be Hugh Freeze's signature win this year?
Signature win. Me and Justin were talking about this the other day, Jeffrey. Is there a signature win? Do you even count A&M this past year as a signature win?
Only because it's the only thing there is.
How about the Cal? How about the Cal win away in the first year?
Hell no.
Okay.
That shit was the ugliest game I've ever seen in my life.
That's as
That's
close
the
as
worst football game I've ever seen in my life.
those would be your top 2 choices for a signature win if you had to pick one right now. That's not good.
His signature win this year needs to be either Georgia or Alabama.
I was going to say Alabama. A&M on the road would be a big win this year. Oklahoma on the road would be a big win. Those are big wins. Signature wins different, the way I see it. Beat Alabama at home after a good season.
Listen, man, Georgia's going to be talented, man. But I think Auburn, if they've got what we think they've got, at least in the 2 deep, and I think they can play with both of these teams. I really do.
They can play with them. I have no doubt in my mind they can play with them.
Which is something they haven't done with Georgia in a long time. I guess Hugh's first year, they hung with them.
Oh, yeah, it was. If not for the Brock Bowers touchdown at the end, Auburn might win that game. Even the next year, the score doesn't say it was close, but it was close in the second half for a little while.
But, Anthony, I think it's got to be one of those two. I really do think Hugh Freeze and Auburn needs to win at least one of those, and I feel like they can.
I do too.
Zach, do you have a differing opinion?
No, I mean he needs to win one of those. I would say if it was outside of one of those, I think it would be that Oklahoma game on the road early in the season because
setting the tone.
Yeah, and that hype around John Mateer is legit. Like he's the next breakout Cam Ward type of player, and if he's as good as advertised, and you go into Norman and get your doors blown off, you look at the rest of the schedule like. If we can't compete with Oklahoma, can we compete with Georgia? Can we compete with Alabama? You don't feel as confident about yourself. So I think you have to get off on the right foot in conference play and win at Oklahoma.
Let me ask you this, Zach, about John Mateer, and I'm kind of with you. I think he's that good too. But Oklahoma's situation on offense was pathetic, man, last year. I mean, how much do you think that affects? It's going to be better. We know that. It has to be. But how much better? And how much does that affect Mateer? I mean, that's what we talk about with Arnold at Auburn. You know, does it matter? Can he overcome a bad situation? Is he that good?
I mean, I would say he's a significant upgrade over both the quarterbacks they had last year. And on top of that, too, I mean, what would have happened to Auburn if we would have lost our top 6 receivers before we got to October? I don't know if Auburn would have won a game.
That's a good point.
And then you had injuries on the offensive line, and then you fire your offensive coordinator mid-year as well. So I think they should take a big step forward. And I'll say this, like I know the hype around Nussmeier at LSU. Me personally, I think Mateer right now is the best quarterback in the SEC. That's how good I really think he can be. So I think for Auburn, that's a game that it's almost like a prove-it game for Hugh Freeze and Auburn. If we're as talented as everyone says we are, we should go in that game and win.
I don't remember if I saw this on the corner or maybe I thought of it. I'm not sure, but if Auburn goes 3-1 in the first 4 games of the season, would you rather that one loss, be to Baylor in the opener or to Oklahoma?
Didn't we? I think we talked about this on a recruiting show.
Did we? Okay, I thought we might have.
But what did we decide? I think we decided it would be Baylor.
Yeah, I've thought a lot more about it. I definitely would want it to be Baylor. It's going to suck for a week,
right?
Having to deal with that, but you bounce back and beat Oklahoma. Yeah, that's nice.
1-0 in the SEC.
1-0 in the SEC.
Undefeated, baby.
Yeah,
hang the banner.
It's a good start. It would be good. Be better to beat everybody, of course, but you know, there's a chance it could happen that way.
Yeah, and your first game with a new quarterback and all this, so it'd almost be much more plausible to do so. And then you're catching your rhythm by week 4, and you're going into Oklahoma, a big game for Jackson Arnold, a big game for Oklahoma, and you come out of there with a win, and that season has turned around in the blink of an eye. Now you're 3-1, and got some momentum heading into the middle of the season.
I think that's what we said. It would be the opposite of a Gus Malzahn season where
Mm-hmm.
started strong. Hey, you beat Washington that 2018 year. 2019, you beat Oregon with a freshman quarterback. But then it fizzles out. You
Right.
can't be that way. It's gotta, you know, you want to start strong and finish strong, obviously, but you got to finish strong. That's number one.
Most importantly.
Because it wouldn't be good if you lose that first game, right, to Oklahoma in the SEC, and then you got to go on the road to Texas A&M, and that becomes a must-win at that point. And then what happens if you're at Kyle Field facing 0-2 in conference?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, talk about a slide. Anthony, you got anything else for us, big dog? I think you had somebody to. Still about training and running. What did you say? Okay.
Yeah, y'all have a good night. I ain't got enough.
Oh man, what happened to the trainer?
He said he might be on the line.
Yeah, he's on the line. Yeah, he's
my bad, big dog. Good stuff, Anthony. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll get to your boy.
Yeah, 5118. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Beck calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Beck?
Beck, yes, sir. B-E-C-K.
All right, cool, man. How about
What's
you,
up,
Beck? What part of Atlanta are you calling from?
I'm calling from, just Atlanta. I live in the Cobb County, Smyrna area.
Oh, okay. I'm more of a Riverdale boy myself.
Okay, South Side, huh?
Yeah, Southside big dog. Yeah, I was born in Riverdale, Clayton County, I believe. So,
Wow.
Beck, you working with the running backs? Is that what Anthony was telling us?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he got me to call in, and he convinced me, to call you guys, give you guys a call. Saying that a lot of training is going on with the running backs over the summer. I've been training and working with Damari since his junior year in high school. I know Jeremiah well. I started working with Jeremiah a little bit his senior year in high school. I'm originally from Montgomery. Worked with Jaquez, throughout his career there, his sophomore, junior, as well as his senior year. And just wanted, to talk to the fans and, give guys an update about the room.
Would love that.
Damari, he's a workhorse. He's been working hard. He's been going crazy. We got some things that we wanted to see him improve on, as far as his contact balance. Making moves at the third level. Because we broke down his film and watched some of the games. He was able to have those 10, 12, 15 yards run, but no explosive runs. So
right.
We put on running more physical and being a third level, improving his run at the third level. Jeremiah, just slowing the game down for him, getting more comfortable with things. And I think he will have a pretty good year. Because the game is slowed down for him and he understand it more. That was his biggest thing. And as well as Omar, man, Damari and Jeremiah got him out there with me like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I've been working with him, and he's a dog.
Really?
He's different. One of the best young running backs that I done worked with so far. With him supposed to be going into his senior year in high school, in a couple months, right? So just seeing his improvement, just seeing his body. I'm a guy that's from Montgomery, so I know a lot about Auburn football, and he kind of got that Trey Mason build. I think his low center of gravity, he had good contact balance, very quick. And he also have that acceleration and that burst, So I think he'll be a young guy that may be next in line to get some playing time. I think he's gonna push those guys for some playing time. I haven't worked with Robinson yet, because of the foot injury, ankle injury, whatever he got going.
Turf toe.
But spoke to him. Should be getting some work in with him pretty soon. But I just know that running back room, they see the disrespect. They see a lot of people around the nation not talking about him. They see, everybody talking about the receiver room, and man, they out to prove themselves. They out to prove themselves. Even after workouts, even after their team run. Damari, he's texting me, he's calling me like, bro, can you come down? Can we get some work in this weekend? Like, bro, I'm coming to Atlanta this weekend. Can we get it in? Me and Cobb, we coming up. So, man, they're on a mission. The whole entire room. Nobody's selfish. Everybody is working hard to try to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And they not really worried about the outside noise. They fit. They just wanted to show that they're just as talented as the receiver room that got the nation attention.
Beck, let me ask you this, man. You talked about Omar Maps and being different. What is it about him that you like so much? And like you said, now everybody listening, he is an Auburn high school running back who reclassified in December, and he should be a senior in high school, but he's a freshman at Auburn. But Beck, you're saying, man, what you've seen, what little you've seen from him, what do you like so much about him?
So just his personality, his aura as well. He's very confident. I was talking stuff to him, when we first got out there, and he's very confident. He's very confident, and there was something that was eye catching to me. And then on top of that, we was doing the drills, and I think it was like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago. That was my first time working with him, and all of my stuff is on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So I do, some complex stuff. And, like I explained it to him. I told him what we were doing, and he was able to execute it at a high level, So he was able to catch on fast. And I spoke to him, and I talked to him about, how hard was, the offense. I'm like, bro, you've been here a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like, what are you saying with the offense? What do you think? He was like, man, like it's okay. I'm there's nothing that I'm gonna be worried about. I already know this, I already know that. So I think he's very intelligent. And I think he have the ability to learn pretty fast. And like I spoke on, his acceleration, his burst, all of that is only going to be a plus for him. Kind of short guy, very strong, very powerful. He have a stiff arm, that he can use as a weapon. And he also, have some speed that he can take the ball the distance. You look on his highlight tape, because I watched him in high school with me being from Montgomery. And I'm actually the running back coach at Damari High School right now, Woodward Academy. I'm the running back coach there. So I'm always watching running backs, and I train running backs. I'm training probably 75, 80 running backs across the state, and I have another 37, 38 running backs that's actively playing college football right now. And I feel like, when the time comes for Omar, I feel like he's gonna be one of them ones, good vision, good patience. And he don't do a lot of dancing. He don't do a lot of dancing. When he see it, he's taking it to the house. He have soft receiver like hands. I seen him, run a wheel route on his highlight tape, and he took that like 55, 60 yards. I seen Auburn run zone, Auburn High School that is. I seen them run gap scheme. I seen them run zone scheme as well. So I feel like whatever Auburn want to give him, whatever, I know Auburn like to do a lot of mid zone stuff and a little bit of outside zone. I think he can do both. I think he can do both.
Let me ask you this, Beck. You said you worked with Jarquez. Obviously, there's going to be some drop off when he leaves. He's a guy that just went to the NFL. The guys that are still there got to pick it up and replace whatever he leaves. I thought the thing that he did the best, he didn't have a lot of moves in his package, but he got those yards after contact. That was tough. The other guys in the room didn't always do that. But I did notice, going back through film like you did, Damari was the guy they chose for like short yardage stuff sometimes, because he's so good at putting his head down and getting those extra yards, just barreling through. So that's what you said you're working on him on the second level, third level, trying to get his head up, his eyes up. I mean, what do you think is going to be the biggest drop off from losing Jarquez Hunter? And what do you think these guys can bring to the table that maybe Jarquez couldn't? Because I do think there are some things actually.
So I feel like you guys, like I said, I've been watching Damari since he was in high school, right? I started training him the end of his 10th grade year, heading into his junior year. So that's 2 years in high school, 3 years in college, heading into his senior year right now. So, like, man, the thing, and I know I can't compare, 5A football to SEC football, but the guy, he's still doing the movement, right? So I just feel like Damari haven't had enough carries. He lacked a little bit of experience on that level, on that college football level, to be able to make those runs and make those carries. You go back and watch the Alabama game a year ago. I think he had his career high in carries. I think it was like 10 or 11 carries for like 88, 90 yards. And I feel like if Auburn can stick into games and be competitive, and I feel like if Damari can get 15 to 18 touches a game, I'm not speaking on carries. I'm saying like 12 to 13 carries and another 45 receptions. Because I feel like he is one of the better. I don't want to try to build one guy up and tear the other one down. I would never do that. But in the room, I feel like he's one of the better receivers out of the backfield, and as well as pass blocking. Man, he's a dog in pass pro. And I feel like with coaching running backs and actually playing running back myself, that is all want to. You got to be wanting to go in there and protect your quarterback, lay your body on the line. Put your post foot forward, sink your hips, dry your hands, all those different technical things. And I feel like he can do that. I feel like he can do all of that. Yeah. Just as well as Jarquez did. Love Jarquez. Like you said, he was just a 4th round pick to the NFL. He just went to the NFL, 3rd, 4th round pick. He just went to the NFL. So, like, yes, of course, it will be, some drop off, or it should be some drop off. But man, just the confidence that I have in Damari, Jeremiah, Omar, Darrell, all those guys, man. I feel like it won't be much. Like I said, those guys are working hard to prove themselves. That they are. A pretty solid, a pretty good running back room. And I know we can never go into a season or go into a game and say, Damari, you're getting 18 touches, Comp, you're getting 15 touches, Darrell, you're getting 12 touches. You can't say that. You may be up, you may be down. You can't do that. But I feel like, all of those guys, they'll be able to, pick up where Jarquez left it, because he was great, and take the running back room into another level.
Cool.
Hey, Beck, what's your Twitter? Tell everybody what your Twitter is.
It's going to be BSA 28 _. BSA 28 _, and Instagram is going to be Beckwith Sports Academy.
Beckwith Sports.
ESBSA. BCKWITH Sports Academy.
Markel Beckwith. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta find his Twitter. 28. ESBSA.
I found him.
28 _.
And you got to follow.
Man, I can't find it. ESBS.
No, B as in boy.
Yeah. BSA 28 _. That's the ad. That's the best.
Oh, I found it. Beckwith Sports Academy. I got you, big dog.
And then when you go on there, it's got owner and it's got his personal one. So go to that.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Also, Beck, tell Damari he's supposed to let me drive his truck. He didn't show up last Sunday. So tell him I'm looking
for him. He came up on
a
scooter the other day. He didn't even drive his truck.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna let me drive his
He probably put the truck on the charger.
Yeah, he was charging. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Beck, good stuff, man. Call in, Phil.
Yeah,
check
please.
in with us, man. That's fantastic stuff. Anytime you got some stuff to add, that would be fantastic.
I'm glad to hear you say that about Omar, man, because
yeah,
I see it on tape. I see it. And funny you
Yeah,
said Trey
he's great.
Mason's stature. That's
He's
good.
Hey, Beck, I would also say this.
I'm, I'm,
I would be curious to know if you'll watch Eric Perry, Auburn's new running back
Yeah.
commitment. He plays quarterback in Mississippi, but look up Eric Perry on Auburn's commitment list this year and watch his film.
I watched him. You know, I think he's a big, tall track kid. Can't really say much about it right now because he's playing quarterback.
He's going to get some more running back carries this year.
I think if he get the right training and, different things like that, he'll be able to make the transition smooth. To me, I feel like he'll come in, he'll be probably 2 years away. Once he get into college and learn the playbook and learn the things like that. But yeah, I like him though. I like him.
He's going to get some more touches at running back as a senior. The coach has kind of made sure of that, not just for him individually, but they're going to work some stuff in for the team with him. Get him. He's more natural at running back, but he's like you said, he's very raw, and I don't think Auburn has any grandeur of him, vision of grandeur coming in and being a true freshman starter. He's that developmental guy that they want to take in this class and add a more seasoned guy if possible. But man,
I'll tell you guys what is another crazy thing. The kid I work with, this kid Carson Baker. I've been working
I
with
love
him the last 2 years, man. Big tall kid. 6'2", 205. He run a 10.5, 10.6 in 100.
Love him. Yes.
Langston Hughes High School just committed to Florida on yesterday. He wanted to come to Auburn. He's an hour and 20 minutes away from his front door to Donahue Street. They just stopped talking to him, man. They just stopped talking to him, start recruiting him for no reason. And then they tried to come back around. And he was like, y'all showed y'all hand, y'all showed who y'all want. Y'all want to go see these kids. These kids, they've been on campus, and like, I'm good. And he wanted to come to Auburn. He wanted to be there.
Yeah, we thought so too, Beck.
FAFO.
He was he was visiting a lot, and we were starting to look at him as maybe the top running back option before they really got into this class, and it all fell off. Like you said, that's exactly that tracks.
Yep.
Well, Beck, don't be a stranger, buddy.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all time. Y'all have a blessed night.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Fantastic call. Great way to close it out.
I've heard his name before. He definitely I've seen him on Twitter, seen some of his clips with running backs, stuff like that. So he's, like you said, he's got like 75, 80 backs he's working with right now. He's got several that are in the college ranks. I would take that guy's opinion. He thinks Auburn's running back room is going to be about fine with where it was last year. So I would I'd say he probably has a clue, wouldn't you?
How much do you love, Damari and those guys going, hey man, we don't have anything going on tomorrow. Can we drive to Atlanta so that you can work us out? We want to get
sounds right. I mean, Damar's one of the guys we see at the complex just living there. He's just living there. He's there to work. He's there to do whatever. He wants to go catch passes with the quarterbacks, whatever he needs to do. He's right, too. He's a good pass protector.
He is.
If you're not with us on the corner, I'm doing something. It's something I do every single day. I add a few clips to a thread where I am literally grading every play I can find from Damari Austin and Jeremiah Cobb. I'm in the Oklahoma game right now.
If you remember, Cole, last year, several times they would take Jarquez Hunter out, put Damari in just for pass pro.
Absolutely. Or just to run a route.
Right.
He was good at that. But they actually used him on short yardage stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Cal game, we were talking about signature wins. That's not a signature win when they won that first year at Cal. If you don't remember, there was a 4th and 2. Auburn went for it. They don't get it. Cal gets the ball back. They got a chance to drive down and win.
Yeah.
They don't put Jarquez Hunter in the game. They put Damari in the game. He gets the first down. He kind of barrels his head down. We asked him later, like, man, that thing, that kind of closed up. How'd you get? He goes, well, I knew I had to get it. He said, I could have cut right and maybe scored, but we're going to get that first down. And that's exactly the mentality they knew he would go at that play with. That's why they put him in for that play. They put him in for a lot of plays like that last season. You just don't remember. I got it on film right on the corner if you want to go look at it. So I have some confidence that the backs are going to be good. I don't know much about Jeremiah Cobb. I haven't seen enough. I think Beck made a good point where, like, you know, if you're a running back, you got to get a rhythm. That helps. And it's not always the world you live in. And when you got to compete with touches with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton.
Right.
But Jeremiah Cobb gets one touch and he's out. That's the way it's been for him so far. You get him for a whole series, we might see a different guy out there.
Fantastic. We appreciate Beck calling in. Appreciate everybody calling in. Kevin from Wilmer, Carter, had Anthony put us in touch with Beck, man. That was an MVP call right there.
Great,
Shmitty J. All right, that's going to do it, man. We're gonna be back this week with some recruiting, with a much more in-depth look at recruiting. We're gonna close this OV schedule, this OV season out with an in-depth recruiting show later this week, either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. Be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, go to Auburn Live on 3. Use the promo code FRIEND, get 50% off an annual subscription. And if you're in Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, looking for some real estate help, look no further for the help you need. Give her a call, Miss Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you. All right, folks, that's going to do it, man. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole, for Zach in the back, who stayed in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.